is she?
Good morning, Maria. And I've got a fun Monday to start out with. I have got a house full this morning. Michelle, why don't one of you, Sarah, introduce everybody for us? Well, at least, why are you here?
I'm Jessica Linnell. I'm a professor with Family and Community Health with OSU Extension Service.
Wonderful, Jessica. I'm glad to see you. And you're joined with Michelle. And I know I always think of Year of Wellness in our health department with you. So
Jessica invited me to join with you all this morning to talk a little bit about the partnership that the Year of Wellness, or now Tillamook County Wellness, has had with the OSU Extension Service and her role specifically.
Thank you, Michelle. And then I think I've got maybe some master gardeners over there.
I'm Karen Steinecker. I'm the president of the Tillamook County Master Gardener Association.
And I am Sarah Ostermiller. I'm vice president.
Well, and you two, you got a favorite place for many to hang out over there with your learning garden at the fairgrounds, and that's right around the corner. But first, back to you, Jessica. What's happening?
Well, we've been working really hard the last couple of years with the Tillamook County Wellness, and I really wanted to talk about the great partnerships that have come out of this. One of the things that we're focusing on now is reducing type 2 diabetes in Tillamook County, which is a very serious concern here. And it's not going to be the ability of one organization to solve this really tough problem. It's really going to take a lot of organizations coming together. And that is the wonderful thing about Tillamook County Wellness, is how many different partner organizations have come together on this work.
Absolutely, and we saw it. I mean, we've seen it so many times in this county when they want to get something done, whether it's a horse pavilion or making us healthy. Michelle, I'm really impressed with what happened throughout the Year of Wellness.
Thank you, Shaena. It really speaks to the readiness that the community had, and the leadership within the community was so anxious and ready to move forward together and start, like I was saying earlier, marching to the beat of the same drum. What we're doing to capture some of that is we're featuring articles in the Headlight Herald, and they'll be shared via social media through our Facebook page, Tillamook County Wellness, of why our partners are in. And it's exciting to have the buy-in and the degree of engagement from all of those different organizations. But the Oregon State University partnership is a special one because they've really brought in what I would call the big guns, and they've allowed us to kind of take this to a much higher level.
I look at, and partly when you think of the partners, the Dairyland Trail now, and with that equipment right there at our hospital.
Exactly. It's just one of the nice things about that is it's a visible sign that things in this county are changing. It's not just all lip service. We are really practicing what we preach. And we're creating the environment that supports people making healthy decisions and choices and actions in their lives. And it's a fun and encouraging thing. It's not something that's a have to, it's a want to.
Exactly. And that's the one thing that I've really seen, and Jessica, you probably have too. They're not saying, you will eat this way, you will do this. It's not. It's very encouraging.
Absolutely. Yes. There's so many things that the community can do to support health. And that is not just individual choices about healthy eating and being physically active, but changing the physical environment, changing where we live, having structures for people to be able to exercise with, and changing how, where sidewalks are for people to walk, be able to change how workplaces support health. So that's what we're really asking people to do, is come together and share ideas about what can we change in our community, how can we work together. And before we get there, one of the things that we're doing is we're going through a series of trainings to bring lots of experts from different fields, all the ones I just mentioned, nutrition and diabetes and the medical field, to be able to share what is known in the current research that we can actually take and adapt for Tillamook County. So we'll be going through that over the next year with the task force and the committee members.
Well, as mayor in Bay City, I'm looking forward to being a part of that too, because we have these wonderful trails a lot of people don't even know about. And one of the things that we're required with that little, we get a nice little bit of gas tax money, and it does help us, but a percentage of that must be left over for trails and for walking areas. Yeah, I like that. It's important.
That's wonderful.
It is. It is. Well, let's hear from Jessica over there. And how? No. Pardon me, Jessica. I was looking right at Karen, and she said, "Okay, Shaena, call me by my real name." What's happening with our master gardeners?
Well, we've been a very busy year. Upcoming for us is our garden tour. We have 6 fabulous gardens for people to come and visit and walk through and see what they've done. And from flowers and trees and ferns to a beautiful vegetable garden that'll knock your socks off how perfectly beautiful it is.
Nice.
But the passports are like a ticket, and it gives you directions where to go and everything. But this garden tour is Saturday, July 21st. It's 10 to 4 a.m. And you can buy your tickets at Hidden Acres or the Extension Office on 3rd Street. Or you can go to the Pioneer Museum. And on Saturdays, you can go to the Farmers Market, and our Master Gardeners have a clinic there, and you can get your passport there.
Perfect. And this is like a self-guided tour with your passport.
Yeah.
And you always have new gardens every year, don't you?
Every year. And this year we have 2 of our very own Master Gardeners, but we have a couple that are from Portland who live in Cape Mears. And she's a Master Gardener and for like 40 years. And she has a walk through the woods, and it's dealing with all her beautiful ferns that she has planted.
Oh,
and,
wonderful.
And these gorgeous evergreens and conifers. So there are some stunning examples, and good for us to learn how to garden on the coast, like Cape Mears, and how to garden here in Tillamook.
2 different areas, really.
Absolutely.
You know, I was talking to Carla Albright, that made me think of it at the museum, but also a master gardener. And she said when she moved here from Pennsylvania, that entirely different, of course.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, in Maryland, Pennsylvania, you have really cold winters. And then in the summer, it's really hot and humid. I think this is paradise because you have such good, your soil is pretty darn good. Unless you're working in sand, but the climate is wonderful. It's not real hot, but if you learn how
we
to
grow
deal with
different things.
Yeah, cool.
Tomatoes might take a little longer.
They do, but there's certain things that Oregon State, bless Oregon State, let me tell you, they're the ones who have come up with tomatoes that work perfectly well on the coast. And
See?
so they've designed some.
Same way with our corn here that our farmers grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when you mention Oregon State, we're so lucky to have them. And that's where our extension office came from. I mean, I think that's wonderful. That each county has an extension office, and all of the things that are accessible to you. Tell us why we decided we needed master gardeners.
Well, Master Gardeners program was actually developed out of the University of Washington back about 35 years ago, because every state has a land grant college. And these colleges were established by the government to provide information to local farmers. So whether they were mostly for commercial, but they were also the local farmers who needed help with the modern farming techniques. So that's how the land grants were originally designed, and they kept getting more and more inquiries from just homeowners. So in Washington, they developed the Master Gardener program, and now it's spread to all 50 states. Every state that has a land grant college has a Master Garden program. And ours is really, the state of Oregon, obviously, because of our diversity and our agriculture, our Master Gardener program is really big.
I bet it is. And the wonderful thing about it, our Master Gardeners, once you go through your class, you spend a few hours a week answering questions.
Yes.
Yeah, we do, at the clinics. And we have farmer markets as well. And our farmer markets are in Pacific City, here in Tillamook, and up in Manzanita. And we just sit there and enjoy watching people and talking to people, but answering their questions.
And we have office hours. This time of year, we have office hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10:30 to 4:30, and we encourage anyone to come, stop by, or call if you have any kind of gardening question. You have plants in your garden that you are worried about, you have an interest in growing something and want to know what to plant.
A bug?
If you've got a bug that you don't know what it is and want to know if it's a good bug or a bad bug, and how to treat them, we're there to help answer those questions. And if you can't make it for office hours, just call the extension office, leave a message with the staff there, and they'll get the questions to us, and we'll try and help out.
Perfect. And I think I know where everybody's going to be August 8th through the 11th. And I've always gotten a kick out of that during that time, the phone number is 842-FAIR.
That's very good.
I love that.
We will be at the fair. Of course, Master Gardeners has their learning garden right there on the fairgrounds. And so we will be staffing that. We'll have people there all throughout the fair. So to give tours, to answer questions. If you have a problem at home and you want to bring us a sample, we can take a look at it right then and there.
Perfect.
And last year, one of our apprentices is a miniature train buff. And he built, I don't know if you noticed it, but he built a little miniature train in one of
I
our
haven't seen that
gardens.
yet, Sarah.
It was gorgeous. And this year he is doing an even smaller version that will be a tabletop, so that the children have a much easier way of viewing it, because the little kids, they get up on the benches and take a look at it. So we'll have that as a special attraction. And then of course we've got all of our vegetables, all of our tomatoes, peppers in the hoop house.
That's what I was going to say. You got a hoop house that might be the right size for my backyard. It isn't probably the same size as Max Sherman's.
Yeah, no, but it's really nice. And we've got tomatoes and peppers in there, squash that is taking over the hoop house. You can almost not find a way to walk through it. It's so big right now. So it's wonderful.
That is
so
wonderful.
We'll be there. Yep.
Folks, we're visiting with our OSU Extension office, our Master Gardeners, and talking about health and all of that. But look, I got one right here. Are you ready to go to work? Tillamook Motor Company has huge discounts on commercial vans, plus 0% financing for up to 72 months. Ford Transit vans stand head and shoulders above the competition. Configure them to suit your job. The cargo box floor is flat with near vertical sides for maximum usable space. Cargo dividers, multi-racks, bulkheads, sliding platforms, design it to fit your needs. Take a test drive today at Tillamook Motor Company on the friendly corner of 5th and Main in downtown Tillamook. Tillamook Motor Company, a better place to do business. They're such nice people over there. This year we kind of moved our broadcast booth, which is always a beautiful Ford pickup, right into that opening where you go into parts. It was absolutely perfect. Well, I didn't move it. Roger headed it in there and pointed it, so it worked great. Oh, that's great. And they're always involved in whether it be, I know they're very involved in FFA, but Jessica, it's like you two were talking about, and it's those businesses, not just the hospital and the Y and the ones you think, okay, well, they're supposed to be caring about stuff like that. It's other businesses too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes, we are really excited about how many organizations have become part of the Tillamook County Wellness. We have the Chamber is represented, the PUD.
The Creamery has been involved since the beginning, and they've really dedicated some key staff members to this work and are integrating it. And they're using part of their rationale for investing so heavily in wellness is because it's a recruitment tool for them to bring employees to this community. They need this community to be one that supports health and well-being and has a certain atmosphere that's attractive. In the hospital and other larger employers, PUD, Tillamook Country Smoker, Warner Meat, all of those larger companies are seeking ways to invest in the community to make it attractive to their employees and to boost employee productivity through having healthier employees.
Exactly. When you mentioned that, when you mentioned the creamery, I thought of the smoker because I can remember, and I'm going to hope, and I think probably so, the new owners feel the same way the previous ones did, because I think they covered a part of the membership to the Y for their people. Very positive things.
All of I can't speak to every single one of those businesses that I just referred to, but I know several of them have very robust employee wellness incentive programs in place. And they really recognize that a thriving, healthy employee is better for everyone. But it's even most important for that employee in their own home life, with their family, with their interactions with other people, having healthy relationships, feeling good about yourself. Those are just basic foundational character traits that we really need in society.
Absolutely. And I can remember, this was years ago, George Nichols owned General Distributing in Gresham, and he said, I don't know, they keep coming up with these ideas. Now they got all the guys out there exercising. And I said, about a month later, and he said, Shaena, I was totally wrong. It was the best thing. The guys all love it. They saw a drop, less back pain, less things, because they were doing their stretches and all in a good mood to hit the road.
Yeah, I think our mills also have those same programs in place, and it's a big injury prevention model. And nobody wants to get hurt. And then you have all the doctor bills and all of the lost work and wages, and it's to everyone's benefit to engage in preventive measures. And that's really what this is all about, is supporting that. And I want to piggyback on what they were talking about, the land-grant college, and how important those have been in history, because that's why we have Jessica here. Oregon State University has chosen to invest within our state into 6 positions, bringing a professor of practice. She's got her doctorate degree. She's here in our community locally. They want these individuals to come into the community and be a bridge between academia, the knowledge, the research, and the science, and the community, where these things have to happen in a way that fits with the local situation and the types of scenarios that present themselves even between Bay City and City of Tillamook are different.
Exactly.
And so having somebody embedded in the community is a really key thing. And I'm just really pleased that we have a state that's that forward thinking, and that the university is making that investment. It's really important.
Wonderful. And Jessica, thank you, because there's a lot of times when, the science is right, but I can't understand what they're saying. So if you can get it so sadly, we know young people that are now in what I always called adult type diabetes with the type 2, and we can stop that. Yes. But you got to be able to explain it to them too.
That's right. And that's what my role is here at the Extension Service, is to be able to help translate the research from the scientists down into, how we can apply that here, and what are some of the things organizations can do. We know a lot about how to prevent type 2 diabetes. And so as part of this work, we're doing our best to bring in experts from Oregon State University to be able to help us learn more, and to be able to support, capacity building so we can be as successful as we can to solve this terrible problem.
Thank you. And Karen and Sarah, I know the flowers are beautiful, but those vegetables are pretty healthy for us too, aren't they?
Well, of course, that is a great partnership between the OSU Health Program, Wellness Program, and the Master Gardeners, is trying to help people learn how to grow, even in flower pots, even in small quantities, something fresh to eat out of your own garden. You don't need a big piece of property. You do not need a farm. You can grow a beautiful crop of tomatoes, spinach, and peppers in pots on your balcony. So it doesn't take much, and any little bit helps.
And if you have a flower pot full of basil on your kitchen table, you can use it all the time.
Oh, yes.
I love this time of year.
Yes. And you can even grow your vegetables in with your flowers.
Yes.
If you have a small plot, you can put lettuce, you can put kale, you can put those things in with your flowers, and they look beautiful, and gives it a little bit more intensity of color and in variation. So you can't be just limited to everything you can incorporate.
Sure. Plus, it brings the pollinators in. If you've got beautiful flowers, you're going to have bees. You're going to have pollinators that come in for those plants, for the flowers, and then they see your vegetable flowers and they go for there, and now you've got a beautiful ecosystem going in your garden. So.
I'm thinking of the lettuce. I don't think I need to plant zucchini, because I tell you, that's one thing Bay City apparently is really good. I find it at City Hall, on my front porch, everywhere.
Well, I created up to make zucchini bread and chocolate zucchini cake. It's wonderful, and it's moist. I gave it to my college kids when I was teaching, and you know what? They didn't know that it was zucchini, and they thought, this is the moist chocolate cake I've ever had. And it was zucchini.
Yeah, and if you told them, I love it just sauteed a little bit and toss in some peas and basil and yeah. But anyway, see, Jessica, it's because I think, and I tell you truly, Jessica, and don't you find it, that it seems like we're ready. For the most part, a majority of people are ready to say, I want to be better and do things a little different.
Yes, we are definitely seeing that. We are just so excited about how excited people are to contribute to supporting a healthy community. I think that resonates with a lot of people, and that's why we're seeing so many coming and joining up and becoming partners and doing the great work.
Well, and part of it too is that we've made this more accessible. I think for a long time, because the science said, even if you think about exercise, ideally, I'm a fitness professional. It's my background in the last 20-some years. And so ideally, we should be engaging in 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise, ideally 5 to 6 days a week. On top of that, we should be doing strength training resistance exercises 2 to 3 days a week, another 20 to 45 minutes, depending on how buff you want to get. And then we need to have flexibility and mindfulness. So there's another, technically...
Toss in some Tai Chi or something.
Yes, exactly. We've got yoga, Tai Chi, any mind-body flexibility, Pilates, anything like that. Another, ideally, again, 3 days a week or more. Well, that adds up. Mm-hmm. And it sounds so overwhelming to people.
When you put it like that, it does.
Yes. And so if you think about, though, if you have a garden, you're getting like half of that in just maintaining your garden.
Exactly.
So then it's more accessible, and it doesn't sound like a have to. It becomes just part of your daily living. So things like walking further, parking your vehicle.
Being more energetic when you wash your car.
Yes, and just choosing to wash your own car rather than running it through and then you're saving money too. So you can look at these things. Just really a lot of it is just shaping how we look at what we do and why we do it, and thinking of it as a positive thing rather than as a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Looking at it like we're doing something good for ourselves, maybe for the environment or for another person. If we're taking a walk with a friend who's lonely, sometimes we need a different motivator. And exactly. Looking at things through at a different angle is really important in this work. And having all the input from all these different organizational levels, all the way down into the community. We have several community members that are just volunteering their time. Mm-hmm. But when you have all of the companies we mentioned earlier, they all dedicate their wellness representative to the work. Well, that person's an individual, and they have a family, and they have a life, and they're contributing their own experiences to this process, to this work. And that's what brings in the community level and makes it so much more realistic and accessible to us at the local level.
And we know from the research that you can't just come in and plunk down, health programs, that it really has to come from the community. And so that's one of the very important things about this.
My mother had a book that said, we are what we eat. When I was a little kid, I've only recently, a few years ago, figured out that what they meant, I think. No, you don't always pick up the weighty tomb to figure out what you're doing.
And we are what we think, too.
Yes, we are.
And that's really important in this.
Now, before I want to go back and visit with the gardeners again, but there's a couple of great websites and, of course, the Facebook page to stay in touch with what's happening.
Yes. So our website is TillamookCountyHealthMatters.org, and it has the community calendar that's a shared calendar. If people go on the Headlight Herald or any number of other calendars, they're going to find the same information that's on ours. And then we have a lot of news and recipes that we share on that as well. And a lot of those are contributed by through our partnerships. We're not generating that ourselves. We're pulling in information and creating a hub for that. And then we have Tillamook County Wellness Facebook page. Step It Up is another program. And the OSU partnership is alive there as well, because Nancy Kershaw is leading one of those walking groups. But there are several walking groups throughout the county, and those are on both the community calendar and our Facebook page and our website. So people, if they Google Tillamook County Wellness, they will find all of those, I'm sure.
Wonderful. Well, Karen and Sarah, before I wrap up, that our garden tour That's only weekend after this.
I know.
Is
Yes.
there's not a limited number of passports? No, because it's self-guided and they want to see
And
everybody.
if they really want to know where, and they kind of forget what's going on, just get onto the TCMGA, the Tillamook Master Gardener Association Facebook page.
Perfect.
And it'll give you all the information you need for that too.
And I'll share that later, folks, with our KTIL Facebook page. Then you can check there. Or you can just call here, and like Sarah and Karen mentioned, Hidden Acres at the Pioneer Museum. We could get them Saturday at the Farmers Market.
Yes, and then the Extension Office.
And the Extension Office.
And you can buy them also. If on Saturday the 21st you wake up and say, oh, this is a beautiful day to go visit some gardens, every one of the gardens will have passports available.
There you go.
And you can go to one of the gardens or you can go to all 6, $10 per person, over 16. Any children under 16 are free.
Okay.
So it's a great family outing.
It would be when you say that, because you could take and so many beautiful ones to see. I can
Yes.
only
Yeah,
imagine.
and you can have, you can take a box lunch either from Hidden Acres or Five Rivers, and call a couple days ahead so they know. But you can eat down at the Cape Mears and the garden. You can go out on the beach there, or you can just in the beautiful gardens that they have. Some
May get lost
tables
in
and
one
stuff.
garden.
Oh yeah, but it's kind of neat to be able to just sit there and enjoy the whole
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us. A few things, folks. Tomorrow, the folks from Tappa's Broadway Baby are going to be here. And I got some birthdays. Angie Cherry. I wonder if Linda let her have the day off. No, Angie's a very hardworking one of our clerks at City of Bay City. Lalani Hurleman, Veronica Simmons, and Frank Bohannon. Happy birthday to you all. Senior meals today, 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway. That's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And at noon every weekday at Kiawanda Community Center in Pacific City, as well as Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. The Vets Picnic up the Kilches is this weekend. There's room to camp. It's a great place. I plan to go up there myself on Saturday for the potluck. Wonderful bunch of people. All vets welcome. This weekend is the opening of Tappa's musical review. It's Broadway Baby and more, with shows Friday and Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 2. You can enjoy tunes from your favorite Broadway shows. And thanks to A Cause for Pause, Saturday is the 4th annual Mutt Strut. Goodspeed Park, 10 to 2. Bring your well-behaved dogs. I think Frankie can go. And your family, and have fun supporting our local animal shelters. And one last thing, who doesn't know our farmers markets? Manzanita, Fridays from 5 to 8. Tillamook, Saturday 9 to 2. Nescoin, 9 to 1. Garibaldi now, Sunday from 10 to 2. South End in the Trollers parking lot. And Pacific City, Sunday from 10 to 2 in the library's parking lot. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, guys. I enjoyed being on today.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening, Tillamook.